yeah, we are here. Our next guest on the show, we are here with Buffalo royalty, in my opinion, and he's making a grimacing face right now, but that's okay. Reid of Bills Mafia and 26 Shirts, and welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. Thanks for having me on. I don't know about the whole royalty thing, but we'll let that slide.
Ask Clayton. I like to. I'm everyone's biggest cheerleader. You know, I appreciate creative and success and things like that. And so, yeah, I live in hyperbole.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
So how are you doing? I know we did not plan this for it to be this to be after such a crazy week and crazy game. But how are you holding up? How are you doing? It's been an interesting week to say the least.
Yeah. That game broke me, dude. I mean, I'm a pretty, I like to think of myself as a pretty positive voice on social media. I went nuclear for about a day and a half on Twitter with referees and the league. And I didn't go conspiracy theory or anything like that. I'm not saying there isn't a conspiracy. I'm just saying I'm not signing up for that to share that viewpoint. But I don't know if it's incompetence or whatever it is. But this league has to get its act together. But yeah, it was a fun, interesting game. You know, aside from the one thing, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? So it was a fun game. But and then to wake up Monday.
Well, there's a couple.
Yeah, I'm talking about that. I'm talking that catch.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking about that catch. And then to wake up Monday morning and then find out that we're getting a new coach. So quite a whirlwind week to be a Buffalo Bills fan.
I will say though, and we were talking about this before you came on, and I think that's the beauty of what you do and the beauty of Bills Mafia and the beauty of 26 Shirts is immediately taking to raise money for a cause. Even with losing one of the best coaches that we've had and one of the best people for the city of Buffalo. I mean, just the outpouring of love for him that always is an indication for me of someone's impact. You guys activated quickly, and it's what it was like $60,000 for skin cancer. Like, it's just kind of talk about turning, lemons into lemonade. That's something.
That's my proudest thing about being a Bills fan. And even if when they go on to win a Super Bowl, my proudest thing is going to be the impact that we as fans have on our immediate community and the community at large, the country at large, the world at large. Whether it's, Tua getting concussed for the 15th time and donating it to his foundation, or thanking someone like Andy Dalton, like 7-8 years ago, whatever it was, 9 years ago, whatever it was. Just the fact that, to use that term, activate, it really is. It's such a great thing. I'm so proud of it. Like we as Bills fans have done so much to make a positive impact when good things happen and when bad things happen.
Well, this is something I was telling Mike earlier. I had maybe heard the term Bills Mafia, but I did not have any understanding of what it really was until I started reading into it. And I know you've probably told your origin story a number of times, but new show, new audience. I'd love you to tell the story again, because it is so it's so great. And
it drops off.
What's that?
I was kidding. I said Dell just drops off.
No.
Well, so let's just start there. I mean, tell us how this whole thing got started, and then what's remarkable is what it, like as you were starting to say, what it has evolved into, which is so great.
Yeah. I made a joke and went viral. We did something productive with it. That's the really short version. No, 2010, Stevie Johnson dropped a pass in overtime against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers went on to win that game. That night, Stevie Johnson went on Twitter and kind of questioned his faith. And Twitter was really young back then. And I would say everything that was happening was kind of happening for the first time. So you had a professional athlete really questioning everything following a play. And that tweet went all around social media, went all around like Sports Center, normal talk shows. I believe it was on The View the next day. Everybody was talking about it. And then fast forward to like 4 p.m. the next day, after Bills fans had just been through it. Adam Schefter retweets the tweet, which in Twitter time is like a year later.
Yeah, exactly.
And the irony being that it was Adam Schefter, right? And
Mhm.
all NFL news, all breaking news comes through him. So for him to retweet Stevie Johnson's tweet like 16, 18 hours later was kind of just felt weird.
Yeah.
So Bills fans can be a sensitive bunch, believe it or not. And we all kind of just started roasting Adam. My Bills Mafia co-founder, Breon, created a hashtag called Schefter Breaking News, and we just started tweeting old news headlines and tagging Adam in it, and just Twitter was really fun back then too, because somebody would come up with a hashtag and like people then like tons of people just start spamming that hashtag with all these different jokes, whether it was racehorse names or whatever it is, like funny names, just everybody's like kind of chiming in with this stuff. So everybody's trying to outdo each other with their news headlines. And then I always joke how somebody said man discovers fire, hashtag Schefter breaking news. And it's like, well, how do you outdo that? Like you ruined it. But Adam didn't take super kindly to it because he ended up blocking a bunch of us. And I never saw any swears or anything really rude about it. But Adam says he did. And I mean, it's Twitter, so he probably did. But so fast forward like 6 months later, and it was a Friday, and I did a Follow Friday tweet, which used to be a thing on Twitter. And I just tagged a bunch of us that got blocked by Adam, and just called us the Bills Mafia. And it was just a one-off joke. I was picking up a pizza. I just fired off the tweet, grabbed the pizza from the pizzeria, went home, and then it just kind of took off from there. At first slowly, but then it really started to pick up steam. Like other fans started using it, players started using it, the local news started using it. ESPN, I remember it was like September, it was like early September 2011, and all of a sudden, like somebody on Sports Center, I forget who it was, I think it was Steve Levy, said Bills Mafia. I mean, that kind of like blew your mind, right?
Wow.
And then you fast forward, 9 years, and in 2020, the Bills actually adopted it as the name of the fan base. So,
that's incredible. Talk about a plot twist,
yeah, a plot twist, yes. So, I was supposed to work at a Cube for 30 years, retire, and like go golf or something. I don't know, but life had other plans. So, so we want to do something productive with it, Bree and Leslie, and I always say I've been very blessed to be able to work with them on the Bills Mafia stuff, especially early on. None of us wanted to make it about ourselves. We just really wanted to lift up other fans, and so we were doing like fundraiser tailgates, and we eventually had a blog, and I was doing like Mafia Monday, and it's just like interviewing other fans, just like tell me your story, And out of that grew my company, 26 Shirts, 2 years later, and that was never part of the plan, like I said, but plot twist.
Yeah, for sure. And when you, what's remarkable about it is that if you had gone to try and create this, like have an idea, I'm going to create this thing called Bills Mafia and start it up and envision what it was going to be, it probably never would have evolved in that way. The thing that's so great about it is how organic and strangely that it kind of grew into what it is now.
Yeah, I mean, I always say I would not have used the word Bills because that's trademarked.
Yeah, right.
And I wouldn't have used Mafia because that's a loaded word, right? Sure. But I think that's why I wasn't trying to start something, and I think that's why it took off. It rolls off the tongue nicely, right. Bills Mafia. But I would have done like Buffalo football fan extravaganza or something lame, but it never would have taken off, right? Because it's just like, but it all worked out, just destiny, I guess.
So was it that moment seeing it on ESPN, seeing them use the term on ESPN that was kind of like, okay, this is big?
Actually, the moment was like a month beforehand. Nick Barnett, who was like a big free agent signing, he had a custom mouth guard made during training camp, and it said Bills Mafia like on the mouth guard. So that was like the initial like,
that's it.
What just happened? And then I've got like a couple of different players started texting me, like what they DM me, like, what's your phone number? And they started texting me with ideas. And that was, that was crazy. It was crazy. So it was awesome. We created a Twitter account. Like Stevie Johnson said, you guys should create like a special Twitter account just for Bills Mafia. So we're like, okay. And then I was joking about how there was one morning I was at church, and that must have been the morning where he said, don't call yourself a Bills fan if you're not following at the Bills Mafia. And all of a sudden I'm in church. My phone was like, hadn't changed my alerts to how they are now, which they don't really do anything. My phone was like, bzz, bzz, bzz. My wife was like, "What is your problem? What is going on?" During the middle of the service, and I'm like, I don't know. It was wild. It was wild, just crazy how it all came together.
And you said that you were expected to work at a cubicle for like 30. What were you doing before all this craziness came together?
Yeah, I was a web developer at the local cancer hospital here in Buffalo, Roswell Park. I ran the IT web team, and ended up leaving in 2015. Actually, the job left me. I got laid off. And but at that point, I was like 2 years into this little 26 shirts project that I was working on, not trying to really start a business, not trying to create a career, or not. We have employees now and everything, not trying to create careers out of it, but it all just kind of came together. But yeah, so I was a web developer. So I guess an e-com pivot, it wasn't that out of pocket.
And it does explain a lot in all the good that you do, because working for a children's hospital, doing things like that, like the second you said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense because of what the Mafia means to the community of Buffalo and others around the country. Like that rings true to me the second you said that. So
yeah, it really made an impact on me. I mean, my faith, I believe that like if you're given opportunities, you need to find a way to bless people through those opportunities. But working at Roswell for as long as I did, I was in a little cubicle farm in a separate building from the hospital, like off campus. But every time you go through the hospital, you have meetings in the hospital with different executives or nurses or doctors or whatever, and you're meeting with them. Like half the time, you're sharing an elevator with, a 10-year-old, like walking around with an IV pole, and it really just, really hits home. Like, holy crap, what's important in life, and so that's why, from the jump, everything we've done with Bills Mafia, we've always, looked for a charitable angle.
I want to ask more about that. I'm just sort of curious, when you create this thing and you have the name and all of that, and then the Bills come to you and say, this is what we want to officially call our fan base. Is this like a business for you? Is this like, you're earning income off of this? Like,
not the Bills Mafia bit, like I said, the 26 shirts grew out of that, and we do t-shirt fundraisers and merchandise that raises money for local families and nonprofits. But the Bills Mafia thing, that was never any kind of, there's no real cash going there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no money flowing through there except for like when we do the annual tailgates, then we take that money and go right to Roswell and give it to Roswell. But yeah, for them to approach me in 2020, I honestly, I thought the Bills or the NFL would never ever adopt that term because it has mafia in it. Like I felt like that was kind of like firewalled. I mean, it became one of those instances I think where if you can't beat them, join them, and just players would get drafted, they'd immediately tweet Bills Mafia. Free agents would sign Bills Mafia. Like you really can't fight it, I guess. But it was actually great though, because when they approached me and everything and said this is what they wanted to do, I was real protective. Not like selfish, but like, listen, we've built something here. I don't want it to become like a marketing ploy or anything like that, and they're actually really sensitive to that. They understood. I told them, I said, I feel like I'm losing a child in a lot of ways, not to get hyperbolic or anything like that, but like definitely a redheaded stepchild. I have 2 daughters. They're amazing. Like the distant third, but like there was something that we had built for so long.
Well, like 9 years, almost a decade, right?
Yeah, exactly. And almost, just over 9 years, exactly, just by a month or so. And they were real sensitive to that. And I feel like they've done a good job understanding the community aspect. And of course, it's the NFL, they're a business. Like there's Bills Mafia merchandise that they put out, plenty of it. But they have always understood and respected how important community is to Bills fandom through and under this umbrella of Bills Mafia, especially.
And I think you guys both brought up something important with Clayton's question and then Dal, like there might not be money I mean, obviously we like I like to get some kind of wisdom out for people when they watch stuff like this, because we really follow people's journeys. And while there might not be direct money from the Mafia, it is creating what I think is most valuable in web and online today is communities. And I think that is the most valuable thing, whether it's an intangible thing or not. And I do think that is the future. Hopefully, if we can, country can get its act together and people can unite. But like creating these like, pocket niches of people that are supportive of each other, supportive of people outside of the group, and that just brings something special to online culture in general. So I do think I just wanted to highlight that because I like that exchange because I think there might it's not be a business, but I do think there's value and an intangible there. And obviously Bills Mafia is it's priceless. Like, I mean, how much has impacted the NFL and fan bases and people in general. It's incredible.
It's wild. Like when we first started it, we were definitely a very small subset of Bills fans, and most Bills fans made fun of those that claimed Bills Mafia.
Really?
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We were like the corny nerds, in the Bills social media space. And I think a lot of them used to call it Bills Mafia.
Wow.
But it's just grew and grew and grew to the point like once players adopt it too, like it becomes a different animal,
Right.
But yeah, it's awesome. And it's cool at the end of the day. Like if I'm a footnote in, my favorite sports team's history, I mean, that's pretty cool. So I don't take it for granted.
And we
go ahead.
Yeah, I think what was I just lost my train of thought. Good thing this is taped and not live. No, I was gonna say I don't know, Clayton, you go. I forgot what I was like. I literally just it just escaped my brain.
Well, let's talk about. I want to talk about 26 shirts because what's great is you go to the website and within days of Coach McDermott being fired, you had a thank you, Coach McDermott hoodie up there on the front page. There it is, and not only that, it's not about selling a hoodie. There's a donation. I mean, a substantial donation with every purchase. Now, is that something you do with everything?
Everything you're going to buy on our website is going to give back to a family or a nonprofit. That's why we exist. The shirts are fun, and they're a lot of fun, and this whole trip has been fun. But at the end of the day, we want to make a difference in the community. And I've been a fan of corny. My mom used to call them novelty tees when I was in elementary school. Novelty tees or funny T-shirts like my entire life, and that's what I know. That's what I enjoy. And I just found a way, I guess, to take that and turn it into something, that's going to make a difference, in people's lives, hopefully. So, but yeah, that's why we exist. Shirts are fun, but we exist to help families, and we just do it through selling shirts and mugs and hats and blankets and everything else you can think of.
Yeah, but I mean, this is real money, and I'm sure it's gone up from here. But at one point, you had 3,500 donors from around the country, $80,000 raised to donate. I mean, that's huge, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, the skin cancer elements that whole thing is different. It's outside of 26 shirts.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually, credit to Bob, a gentleman named Bob Piljay, fellow fan. He tagged me in a tweet early on Monday and said, "I'm giving." Hey, can you share this? I'm like, dude, great idea. And so I just kind of try to use my mouthpiece to share it, but that's
cool.
So so our T-shirt fundraiser is separate from those donations. So
fair enough. But I guess it goes to the point that really you have a lot of good people in the Mafia that are contributing from a lot of different quarters, and what is remarkable is that they're all sort of bonded by this love for your team, which is
absolutely, man. Like we're all different. Like you said in the stands at a game, we're all different faiths, socioeconomic status, probably politics, definitely politics, right? But all these different things that are going on in people's lives, and we're all so different. But we all love that team on the field. We all love our community. This community that we live in, that we raise our kids in, that we share. We all love it. And so when we're able to take that passion that we have for the team and kind of turn it into something in the community, that's really special. It's really special. And I don't take that for granted as a Bills fan. I don't know if all fandoms do that. I don't pay attention to every single, team's fandom, but for what we do, I'm very proud of it.
And it's one of the most esteemed fan bases, easily. I mean, most diehard esteemed. I mean, obviously, it's been a weird week. There was a certain press conference in Buffalo that, I have no words. But even through that and the doom scrolling and covering that and looking at all, and I've been a Bills fan for 35 years now. But seeing all that stuff, from every commentator, whether it's Carton or whoever, they always comes around towards the end of whatever they're saying about the Bills or the ownership or the future or whatever. And Josh Allen's obviously a huge, on a huge pedestal and the best in the game. They always talk about the fan base at the end. Yeah. And they're always like, whether it's consoling what we've been through as a fan base, or just saying how supportive they are of the community and on all the great things they do. And I think it was Carton who was talking about how, obviously it's well documented, when it's snowing, Bills fans will shovel the snow from now it's the old Highmark Stadium, even without a guaranteed ticket. They just do it because they love the team. It's something you don't, like I said, when I say esteemed fan bases, that's an understatement. I mean, it really is something truly special. What is it like to be almost kind of like you said, there's like pinch me moments, like leading a charge and a goodwill charge, on top of it also being, this isn't like some lesser known fan base. It is really one of the best that there is in sports in general. It's kind of a proud moment for fans to even be part of the family. It's kind of amazing that you're kind of, like I said, hey, I brought up earlier, the Buffalo royalty thing. It really is kind of true. It's whether or not, you can, you don't have to agree. It's okay. We can do that for you. But it's just a kind of amazing place to be. And I'm going to shut up now and let you.
No, it's cool, man. No, I guess it's an honor, right? I don't take it for granted. Whatever role it is that I'm playing here. Certainly I'm not a linchpin. Like, I could disappear tomorrow and everything's going to continue to move on. Like, no, for real. Like people are still going to show up to the games. They're still going to give when something happens. But it's really cool to be a part of it. That's all. Just something we all share together. And I think we all kind of have different roles in this fandom. Right now, for however long, I'm doing this role, and I'm enjoying it. My family, we're enjoying it. And just trying to use it for positivity. Anytime I have a chance, like somebody puts a microphone in my face, I want to make sure that, I'm giving credit to God, who has put me in this position, and I am doing what I can to bring other people into the spotlight. That's important to. Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, that's a thing too. I told the photographer. I said, you have taken probably the first pictures ever in my life where you made me look semi-badass. So thank you for that.
But that's amazing. Do you ever feel like has there ever been a moment where you felt sort of the attention or the size of it growing? You worry about it getting like too big and sort of losing that bit of magic that made it such an organic thing in the beginning?
You mean just Bills Mafia in general?
Yeah. Either you mentioned sort of the concern over it getting too commercialized with the Bills organization, but does it? And maybe it's gotten so big to the point where now maybe it is sort of its own thing, and you
absolutely
giving it away to the public, and it becomes theirs at a certain point, right?
Absolutely, and I was saying that before 2020. When the Bills adopted it, it has grown up and left the house. It belongs, and it has gone through its crazy college years with all the Deadspin and Barstool nonsense. But it belongs to everybody. It belongs to everybody. And I don't claim ownership of Bills Mafia. And that was one thing I've always tried to make clear is like this. Listen, if it wasn't Bills Mafia as the name, it was going to be something else, because Bills fans, I didn't create Bills fandom. I didn't create the hearts that we all have. I just got lucky that, I said something stupid and it took off, and, people started to say it as well, but not stupid, you know what I'm saying? But but Bills fans, especially during the drought and that time when it all kind of happened, Bills Mafia, like Bills fans were sick and tired of being the butt of every joke and just not mattering and only showing up on SportsCenter when the other team was scoring touchdowns on your defensive backs,
Yeah.
or they getting sacked by the star defensive end on the other team, right? That was the only time we were ever on, it felt like. And so I think we were tired of being the butt of jokes. And like, listen, we love this team and we love all the rituals, that come along with it, with tailgating and, raising our kids as Bills fans. And, we're going to unite no matter what. So just happened to be, Bills Mafia.
Love it.
So I do remember the quote. I forgot who was officiating the Denver game, but it hit
Carl
me.
Jeffers.
Yes. Yeah. He threw a flag after a breeze hit him in the face. Someone said when Josh Allen steps back onto the field, he'll be 30 years old, which that stuck with me because again, he's just made such an impact and just such another great story. Where do you think the future of this team goes? Obviously, there's so many changes happening, so many things going on. It does feel like this is a fork in the road for better or worse, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's major changes, major things happening. I think I've already started to see, I think it was Joey Bosa's wife posted, kind of ominous. It was like, thanks for the memories, Buffalo. And I was like, well, I guess, he's probably not coming back,
I don't think Joey Bosa was ever coming back anyway on that 1-year deal. That was basically him to show the rest of the league he could stay healthy for a year and, play at a high level. So but that's not, I understand the point you're making. I will say some encouragement. First time Jim Kelly stepped on to a Super Bowl field, he was 30 years old. So, so there's that. There he is. So, but yeah, your point stands. Like they're running out of time, in this window, and I think it's open, but the window is getting smaller and smaller. It's still open. You can still get through there, but it's not where it was, I think, a few years ago. The team is definitely at a crossroads. And I understand. Listen, that wasn't the most eloquent, whatever press conference that went on Wednesday. I do think so. I do think we're kind of overreacting to a lot of it. You know what I mean? If you read between the lines, what I think Terry Pegula was trying to say was like, listen, this seasons are ending the exact same way every year. Our defense has given up 30 points. And whether it's this week or next week, we're not even getting to the Super Bowl, and something has to change. And now, so now is it going to be a good change or a bad change? Only time will tell. But and no shade towards Sean McDermott whatsoever. He is truly probably the second best coach this team has ever had. At least in my lifetime, that's an easy thing to say, and he's done so much for the city, and he and his wife gave so much time and effort and love and everything to this city. But just the logic with what Pegula was saying was, hey, listen, every season ends the same. We have to make a change. And some things, a lot of things that people are missing in that press conference. He talked about how he's only got to see his daughter play twice in the past, like however many years it was. She's the number 3 tennis player in the world.
Yeah.
And he's got to see her play live twice. His wife, Kim, who I think handled a lot more of the Bills' responsibilities. And I think Terry was always more of the Sabres' responsibilities. A few years ago, she had a medical event, like a stroke, I think it was. And now she's been, she's not who she was, and she requires care and stuff like that. So, and I think Pegula is like 74 years old. So the man's 74 years old. He's not able to invest the time in his family that he would like. And he's in a position here where he owns these teams, and he said when he bought the Sabres, and it's true for the Bills as well, like they exist to win the championship, right? So and a lot of people had some opinions on Brandon Beane staying and how now he has an extra title. But if you could put 2 and 2 together, I think what Pegula was saying was like, this wasn't some worm tongue thing. We saw those memes going around with Brandon Beane like speaking to the King of Rohan or something like that. But it was Terry Pagula, I think, reorganizing the office. Like, listen, I can't be having the coach and the head and the general manager reporting to me. I'm running a hockey team. I have a wife who needs attention. I have my daughter who I would love to see, like all these different things. Like, so I think he said, you know what? All right, I'm getting rid of the coach. We're going to get a new coach from now on. He reports to you, Brandon Bean. Get moving. Let's get this going. So that's my whole thing. And yeah, it was not, there was a lot of, they had to break a lot of eggs while they're making that omelet on Wednesday. But social media loves, they love a controversy, and they love something, that they can get fired up about. Should Keon Coleman have been brought up? Probably not. But at the same time, like,
he's probably not going to be in the team next year anyway, and he probably wasn't from the.
He probably wasn't in the team anyway next year, regardless of that press conference. The kid has not done really well. He hasn't impressed his coaches, at the very least. Who I don't know if any of them will be back next year, but through missing meetings and stuff like that. And Eric Wood had a really good tweet. Like, you have to really try to miss meetings, because the meetings are normally at 8:00, and a lot of the players show up at like 6 or 6:30. So anyway, all that to say, go Bills. Future's bright.
Yeah. And I think I honestly think you put it more eloquently than a lot of people online. And also a personal note, apologies if I've contributed to as well. Like, I've been covering it and posting, and it's just been an interesting thing. I haven't had the passion or ability to do this in a long time. And so, I can take accountability for that as well. Getting on.
Hey, listen, no one's wrong for sharing their thoughts, right? And it's just it's such a knee-jerk thing, and we care about this team, and we care about our community, and so this is all very emotional. We're very wrapped up in all of this. But after a couple days, you can look back and be like, all right, I get what's going on here. You gotta let the dust settle a little bit. I think, and I think I tweeted this morning or last night or whatever it was. They're going to hire a new coach, and this press conference is going to be ancient history. Yeah. It's going to be gone. It'll be gone after that. And, so.
And it'll be interesting. I mean, is there anyone you're pulling for? I mean, today, I'm sorry, I can't hold back the I don't even know what the word is for it, but the Philip Rivers news was just bad. I'm like, wait, what? Like, that was the thing that caught me off guard. And I'm like,
as if Mike McDaniel wasn't going to catch you off guard.
Yeah.
How do y'all do that? Oh, let's do Philip Rivers. I mean, I think they're keeping themselves busy until they're able to interview Clint Kubiak. Hopefully on Monday, go Rams at this point now, just so we get the bottleneck out of the way with the Bills hiring process. But I don't think there's anybody I'm pulling for. I would like an offensive-minded coach this time around. Teams tend to do that anyway. They tend to bounce back and forth between offensive and defensive-minded head coaches. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the Philip Rivers news a little while ago, and I don't know if it's good. And I'm not saying I want it, but I love this news. I love this news. I don't know if I don't think I want them to hire him, but I love the news. Like, dude, turn over every rock.
Yeah, and that's what Bean said he was going to do, right? And he's like, we're not leaving any stone unturned. And I to your point, I especially for this program and for what we do, and me and Clayton, like the Philip Rivers story. At some point, if he goes on to coach in the pros, which it looks like he's trying to do, his story this year is reminds me of the Kurt Warner story a little bit. Obviously they didn't get to the playoffs and whatnot, but I was watching. I mean, everyone was watching. And as a guy getting older and I'm getting into my feels of my injuries and things are coming off, and I'm limping around a little more as I get older, and like, it is a great thing to see, and it starts to resonate with you and stick with you more. And I loved it. I watched almost every game he was in, and
it's fun.
Had it at 44 years old. Like,
this is a movie. We watched a movie happen, basically, and there'll be some lessons learned along the way that he'll be able to share in that movie or whatever. But I don't know. I have no idea where it's going to land. Ryan Fitzpatrick said on his podcast that he thinks that Josh Allen needs somebody who's not going to be buddy with him, but that's going to push him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Put him to the next level. That makes sense. I don't know Josh personally. I don't know Ryan Fitzpatrick personally. I don't know any of these coaches personally, but I can see there being a world where that makes sense. You know what I mean? Okay, like that makes sense if that's part of the issue there. But I don't know. I just hope they get it right. whether it's an offensive-minded guy, a defensive-minded guy, a young guy, an old guy. I don't care who they hire at the end of the day, as long as he wins the Super Bowl, right? And we're not going to know any hires that happen. We're not going to know if it's a good hire or a bad hire until
a few years from now,
a couple years from now. So
yeah,
I think we all need to reserve our judgment, which we all hate doing.
They floated Bill Belichick's name, and I was like, I don't think it's no chance it's going to happen. But I thought that was, again, I love the meme. Again, this is where social media is great. The memes where it's like, you either live long enough, the Dark Knight quote, you live long enough to
we quoted that
long enough to become the villain or whatever. And I was like, this is great. This is cinema right now. This is fantastic.
Yeah. We quoted that in the office this week, just talking about Brandon Beane, how like fans have loved it. They called him Big Baller Bean and all that stuff, and they're posting memes about it with sunglasses and everything. And then this news happens Monday, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's a snake!" Like, not even, you don't know what happened. And I'm of the opinion, like, I don't think that Bean had any decision in this firing. To be honest with you, I think it was all Terry Pagula, like you said.
Yeah.
You guys are so into this. Am I nodding convincingly? Like I'm understanding what you're talking about.
It's just, brother, we are in on this stuff.
So amazing. That's great. I love it. I wanted to ask, over the years with the rise of Bills Mafia and especially with the charity work and the money that you've been able to help people out with, has there ever been a story that just sort of stands out for you that really affected you, something you guys helped with, or maybe it's just broadly in general, but I'm just curious if there was any particular story that stood out.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, to be honest with you. You get to know some of these families that you support pretty well. And when the Bills won the division for the first time in a million years back in 2020, we did a shirt. It was kind of like based on the Grinch. It was called "How Buffalo Took the Division," and we were able to raise like either close to or just about like around $25,000 for this one guy who was dealing with an illness that occurred while he was in between jobs with no health insurance. And so hopefully we made a big dent in his medical bills. There was another shirt we did when the Bills hired Rex Ryan. And it was like a Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of stylized like a Bills logo. And we called it Buffalosaurus Rex. And we raised I think like 15 or 16 grand for a family whose daughter had leukemia. And that was like 2015. So based on 2015 numbers, we probably paid for their mortgage for the year, or whatever it is. So that's the stuff that's most important. That's the stuff that sticks out to me. Like, it's been cool. I've gotten to meet some players and work with some players and got to go to some cool events and some amazing experiences. But what matters is like the money that we're raising for these families. That's the most important thing. And to be able to make a difference, sometimes honestly, like we do a lot of designs, we do a lot of families, a lot of causes. Sometimes we strike out. We don't do really that well. We always try. to, but when you're able to send that check and thinking, you get a reply back like, oh my gosh, thanks. This is going to help us, fill in the blank, whatever it is. Like even some of the campaigns where I get disappointed that we didn't do as well. We still, in some ways, like we still like covered all their gas going back and forth to the hospital, or paid for some lodging at a, if they couldn't get a Ronald McDonald house or whatever. I'm just like spitballing on things. But that's for me, that's the most important thing. That's what sticks out is hopefully the difference that we've made in these families' lives just by celebrating the city of Buffalo and its teams and its chicken wings and all the other things we do shirts about.
And I know we're slowly coming up on time. I would love to ask, is there anything coming down the pike for you? Anything, as the world continues to evolve, social media, new platforms, helping others, things like that. Is there anything that's on the horizon for you, or is it just kind of business as usual? I mean, continue to help families, continue to do what you're doing, or is there anything new in the pipeline that you're excited about?
Well, a lot of it, this is a very hamster wheel operation. Sometimes putting out a new shirt every Monday, every Monday it's a new shirt, it's a new design.
Wow.
but this will be our 3rd year doing our Mafia Con event, which has been a lot of fun. It's grown every year.
Wait a minute. What is Mafia Con?
It's like Comic Con, but Bills, I guess.
Great. Wow.
So we started that a couple years ago. We team up with a local company called TSC, which does all kinds of cool player signings. We have players show up. We have literal cosplayers show up. People dressed up in Bills outfits and
that's awesome.
All the different things.
So
it's so that's a lot of fun, and it continues to grow. I mean, last year we did this as a special promotion item. If you guys can see it there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pinto Ron. So he gets covered in ketchup and mustard before every Bills game, which is a funny ritual, right? So we made a custom action figure available only at Mafia Con exclusive. So
I love it.
And people are like, why would you do that? Because it's like, well, no one else is going to do it. It falls on us. We have to do it. So so I don't know what this year's exclusive item will be, but just trying to like pull from all these different areas. As you can see behind me, like I'm not just a football fan. I got Star Wars and Marvel posters and stuff behind me. I just trying to pull from all the stuff that that I love, and just mashing them all together. And not even just stuff that I love. There's things that people enjoy. If we can find some way to mash it in together with all of other things that we love, and do some good in the process. I mean, let's have fun, right? Let's do cool stuff and continue doing that as time goes on.
I've been staring at you for 45 minutes and I just noticed the Loki poster. I mean,
that's my Loki season 2 poster.
That's amazing. Obviously
beneath it is a Loki season 1 poster. Yeah. So I got
great show. And Clayton is, as when you mentioned Star Wars, Clayton is a published Star Wars author and a huge fan. Awesome. So you're with the right guy right here as well. So
can I ask then? I don't want to like eat into your podcast. Can I ask you guys some questions? Like,
please.
All right.
This is
awesome.
Right,
so I guess I'll start with you, Clayton. What's your Star Wars connection? I mean, Michael just said published author. Is that you said? So like
So basically it started when I was 4 and saw the movie, and it ingrained itself into my DNA. So I grew up to love especially the behind the scenes kind of stuff, like ILM and Skywalker sound and visual effects and sound design and all that kind of stuff, the behind the scenes stuff. Love the stories, love the actors, but my interest is in kind of the technology and the sort of genius that goes into sort of all the technical innovations and things like that. So that's kind of where my love is. So lately I've been writing for ILM.com and SkywalkerSound.com, and then I had a chance to so I was laid off from ABC News during the pandemic when the wave of layoffs hit the company, and these things happen for a reason, and it opened up. I had time suddenly to work on and volunteer and figure out if I could work on some Star Wars books. So I got to work on the first one was Star Wars Timelines, and then a couple of visual archives for Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace, and so kind of a mix of behind the scenes and in story stuff, which is kind of a fun mix. So yeah, it's this is the. I just love it, and I'm extraordinarily stupidly lucky to get to work on these things.
Yeah, no doubt, dude, no doubt. Like, I mean, we could have a whole podcast me just griping about Star Wars the past 10 years, but somebody I think I read like every EU novel that was written.
No kidding.
Which is now all almost every. I probably missed a couple in there, but a lot. And now they're all apocryphal. And they're not the actual canon. So I get so annoyed when the made up history was replaced by a new made up history.
A new made up history. Yeah. But it's fun how they're drawing from it now more often.
I feel like they're taunting me. Like that Ahsoka, there's a new heir to the Empire. I'm like, you get that. Yeah. Take that.
Right.
But it's fun. And so that's awesome. And then so Mike, I see there's like a lot of he has Star Wars behind him. You have a lot of comic, it looks like, in terms of Marvel and DC.
Yeah, I have. So it's weird. I have such an eclectic background. Like me and Clayton met through ABC, and then I brought. I had to have him on. We produced actually a Star Wars show at ABC. It was like Inside Marvel Star Wars, and we went through the Charles Soule run, which was kind of like, I don't know if you've read those books. They're not like Heir to the Empire with Dark Horse, but it was actually Marvel, and they did runs that were connecting the episodes. So they have a whole, and they're canon. It was funny. We used to say it so much, and we would be shared on the Marvel Facebook, and there were all these comments like, "Yeah, take a shot every time these guys say canon," because we you know, it was every 5 seconds we were like, "Well, this is canon, this is not canon." But there's a run. Charles is an amazing author, and he's also a Daredevil author and stuff like that. And he, you see like Darth finding out about Luke like after episode 1, and there's episode. Sorry, apologies, episode 4. And so he's like staring into space, and he's like, "I have a son." Like, and it's just there's such like heavy moments.
Like comic. These are Marvel comics.
These are yeah, it's a run. Yeah. And so we met through that, and then I worked with Marvel a lot when I was at ABC, and kind of really, I'll take a little credit there. I really brought Marvel Comics. That we, you know, it's the same company, it's Disney, but ABC was not covering Marvel a lot, and Marvel would always go to like EW and like magazine, like Switzerland, right? Like EW and Esquire and Vanity Fair, like. They're like, "Oh, we don't want to play favorites." And I'm like, "What do you mean play favorites?" Like, you know, so it was a blast. And I, since the last like 5 years, started a company called Nerd Initiative, and basically just doing reviews for comics and movies and shows. And just because I left ABC like 6 years ago and immediately regretted it. I did a reverse of your life. Like, I went into the corporate comms world, and I was like, "Oh, this will be a nice change of pace." And immediately it was like, no, this is not for me. I miss it. And so I've been enveloped in it, and I love it. And it's been like a more of a mentorship role for like the younger content creators that I kind of work with, where it's cool. They get their quotes from reviews on like Marvel trade paperbacks and comics. And it's been really cool. But yeah, that's why earlier, and we can take this out, but that's why earlier it resonated with me when you mentioned no money. Like, there's Nerd Initiative is I'm in the red there. Like, there's no money making, but it's a passion project and something that I love doing. And same thing with the Bills. And so it's been nice to kind of get back into the things that I love to do. And yeah, I mean, man, we could talk about this all day. Like, when I saw the Loki,
like literally,
you could see I'm like literally my ADD brain is going off. When I saw the Loki poster, I'm like, ooh, like, another show that I absolutely loved. And so I just, it's just, man, I love this stuff so much.
I think Loki is the best content that they've put out since Endgame. Maybe, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home is pretty fantastic as well too. See, but I'm wearing a hoodie. I have like Marvel tattoos. I have a Star Wars one on my leg too. But like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually Han Solo on a buffalo instead of a tauntaun. But
I have a Star Wars tattoo.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's go.
This is great.
Awesome.
Did we just become best friends over here? Like,
I think we did. I think we did. But yeah, so I think Loki's fantastic. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've watched that final episode of season 2. I'll just rewatch it because I can't watch the whole season. But that final episode is just it's just awesome. It's special. I cannot wait to see Doomsday. My Instagram feed is constantly me trying to get out of spoilers and not see anything. And
I mean, you'll really open the Pandora's box right now. But that final episode, I mean, I did it. You know, where he does it, like the callbacks to the original Thor, and like, I mean, it's
for all of us, right?
And a lot of that stuff, like, I don't know if I'm just dense or whatever, but I don't realize it till later on, and I'm like, oh my god, how did I miss this? And it's fascinating. You'll love.
You're not dense, dude. That's a lot of content. That's a lot of content to have Rolodex in your brain.
Yeah, but you would love this actually as a Star Wars fan. Me and Clayton got to spend some time with when we were doing our show with people from the Story Group, which they're the guys at Star Wars that plot the books. And well, now that everything's canon, the books, the comics, the extended, you know, like the shows, the animated shows. And it is funny, like it was, for us, we were geeking out on it, and I don't think the audience like fully understood how cool it was. It wasn't like, you know, we're not sitting down with Kathleen Kennedy or Mark Hamill. It was like, you know, I'm forgetting his name now, but it was just so cool because he would talk about how they tie everything together and keep track of everything. And I'm like, this is making me a headache.
Pablo Hidalgo, what was it? Who was the guy that was in charge of like the whole all the
Pablo does a lot of that. Yeah. There's a bunch of them now, and they all kind of divide up depending on whether it's movies or books or whatever. But it's serious business over there, keeping it all straight. So
I can't imagine. And I don't want to be disingenuous with you. Like I'm not 100% out on Star Wars now, but it's definitely not where I was like 10 or 12 years ago. It's gone off in too many different directions that and as a Gen Xer, they totally killed Luke, literally, and also they undid his entire arc from. See, I'm going off again. I'm sorry.
Here you go. Yeah, it was all
they took him from a whiny little country boy to a Jedi, which in third grade me was like, this is the coolest person ever, and then he comes back in 2017 and he's a whiner again. So I had such and he's around all those ancient Jedi texts and he didn't read them. Really? So anyways,
it is
my bad.
No, please. Look, we can talk. It's funny, when Last Jedi was coming out, I went down, and I feel like you're probably the same with the EU content. I went down the rabbit hole, with the whole Plagueis information. I was so pumped for this, and then when Rise of Skywalker came out, well, also Last Jedi, but when Rise of Skywalker came out, and they're like, oh no, he's Snoke was just like some random person, and I was like, wait, what? Like it really was. That was a big letdown for me. Like, I think there's so much good extended universe content. They haven't touched on the Old Republic or Darth Revan. Like, people keep campaigning for Keanu to play, which I would love that. Like, I mean, I remember we were at Celebration one year, me and Clayton, and we were doing, I think we came out of the Last Jedi like panel, and they just showed the trailer and all that stuff. And I remember we were talking about, like, I mean, Clayton was making fun of me because I was talking about like the Jedi that or the fallen Jedi who became split off to Sith and all this stuff like that. And I just, that stuff fascinates me. Like, I love the lore. I love that stuff. And I think, I hope they get to explore that more, because I really do think there's so much content that, they haven't touched on. It's fascinating. It's really,
I loved the Clone Wars novels when they were coming out 20 years ago. I thought they did such a good job of going in different directions, kind of like how the MCU does now. You have like espionage movie with like Winter Soldier, and you have a heist movie with Ant-Man, and then you have just like the space opera with Guardians. Anyways, but the Clone Wars novels, like, they had all these different authors doing all these different takes on what all these different Jedi were doing in between episodes 2 and 3, and that was so much fun. Like, my favorite was the MedStar. They called it Duology because it was 2 books, and by Michael Reeves. That was like my favorite. I've had oh my gosh, what was the protocol droid's name? I5YQ or something. Anyway, who cares? But like, there was like the great characters in it and everything, and then like Disney bought it and they said, okay, that doesn't count anymore. I'm like, he just vanished him from. But that said, my 40th birthday, Force Awakens came out, and my wife surprised me and rented out an entire theater. She was like squirreling money away for like almost a year, I guess. Like, that's just
wow.
So it was like, this is your life. You walk in, there's all these like people that I knew like for my whole life. It was crazy, and I loved that movie. They could have gone. I like in that time I forgave them. Like, okay, you gave up on EU. I'm okay, fine. And then I'm like, that movie ended. I'm like, that movie was amazing. And then I didn't like where they went with The Last Jedi. Just some of the stuff. The Emperor, the Snoke throne room fight though. That was hot. And
I know that makes the movie. I agree.
And then I'm like, all right, just stick your landing. Just I'll give you a couple years. Just stick the landing with this next movie. And I remember Rise of Skywalker ends, and there's like, I think there's 5 of us sitting in the rows. My wife, my 2 daughters, my best friend Jeremy, who always comes up from Virginia when there's a new Star Wars movie. And I remember looking, the movie ends, I look over, and my wife and my younger daughter were like, and my other daughter and I were just like, no. I have never walked out. Even Last Jedi, I loved it at first when I first saw it, and then I digested it all. I'm like, I don't like it. But I've never like had a Star Wars movie end and immediately go, I want my 2 hours, 3 hours back. And then I watched it one more time during COVID. Like, I'll give it a chance. It was on streaming or whatever. And I was like, Anyways, sorry. That's my rant. That's my.
No, I'll share one more cool story. I used to help produce for. Do you know who Peter Travers is? He was the old Rolling Stone film critic. He's like one of the last. Yeah, great guy. And so I used to help out because I was like the senior entertainment guy. So I did all the stuff at ABC. It was great, and that's how me and Clayton was like levels above me. He was like a national correspondent cover. Yeah, Clayton's very humble. Like he was doing like amazing stuff. I was just kind of like
hanging out with Broncos cheerleaders,
like covering entertainment and movies and TV. And so Peter, who's got great relationships with all these actors, had Mark on for Last Jedi, and so I got to watch. It was great. And by the way, I have a picture somewhere where he's holding a red lightsaber, and I'm like, this is such a no-no, but it's a great picture. He's like holding it, but and so he was talking to him about it, and it is frustrating because he had so many great ideas that they just ignored, and one of them was like, I do like when the lightsaber wiggles in the snow and it ends up being Rey who catches it. He had pitched Ryan. He was like, why not? That's when I make my appearance. Like it wiggles and it comes back to its original owner, and like that. And there was a whole thing in I think the Last Jedi: Rise of Skywalker where he's communicating with Leia the entire time, and it's just he had some really good ideas, and they just kind of were like whatever. And I think it just kind of went off the rails after.
My biggest beef was it felt like they played hot potato, like J.J. Abrams made the first movie. He's like, all right, take it where you want it.
Yeah.
And how do you spend that much money on a property and just like say, all right, we're gonna start making movies and we don't know where it's gonna land, but there's money to be had. Like that, I don't. The only reason I care so I get so wired or crazy about it because I cared so much about it. It's like so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
same.
I always say, outside of raising them to be good humans, the thing I'm most proud of as a father is getting through 5 years of my daughter not knowing that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's dad. And so we're watching through the movies, and it was my older daughter was 5, my younger daughter was like 3. So not quite, but I couldn't hold out any longer, right? Because she's going to find out. So we're watching through the movies, and we're watching Empire Strikes Back, and my daughter goes, wait, did he just say he's his dad? And I was like, freaking nailed it. So that was like a thing. Everybody knew, like, you do not talk about this around the kids.
Right.
And just
that's remarkable that you got that long. I mean, that's
like a long con. Like you just kind of kept in character. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And I go, yeah. And then my younger daughter goes, then why are they fighting? It was kind of funny. But oh my gosh, it was I was so in that moment, I was like, you friggin' nailed it. So